Hello viewers, you are watching International Wild. Kindly subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notification of the latest uploaded videos. This evening on events in the central city of the Nipro in Ukraine, a missile has struck a multi-story residential building, injuring 3 people. Those are the early reports, so you can see here the pictures from the aftermath of the incident. This is from local media. President Vladimir Zelenskiy has described the incident as Russian missile terror. President Zelenskiy has used very strong language to the Russian side, and just to tell you, he said that they will be taken to an account to this missile terror, as he called it, as you mentioned, and this is quite unprecedented because President Zelenskiy himself has published the video from the Nipro attack site, and normally Ukrainian authorities have been very cautious and careful about these things. They ask people not to report, they ask eyewitnesses not to publish anything on social media, and the fact that President Zelenskiy himself has published it means that it is a big deal, and currently he is talking to all the local authorities and taking situation under his personal control. 5 people found to have been injured in that strike after all the flats in the building were checked. That's according to the Interior Ministry. The casualties included 4 men aged between 18 and 53 and a 77-year-old woman, all of them getting medical attention without being admitted to hospital. One of the advantages were that this building was largely empty. Some of the apartments do seem empty, but it's hard to say because it's Friday night. Obviously some people were out, but still a lot of people, new people who lived in that newly built apartments. They said that there were people inside. Just mind you that they're like a residential blocks, there are 3 blocks, and there were families there, so for kids were inside, but because of Friday night a lot of people might have been out. The truly shocking about this is that the recklessness and the lack of care for anybody or any residents in the city, and it probably tells us that actually the Russians really don't care, and they're firing these missiles, and they don't have missiles that are accurate. What's he like living under that sort of terror at the moment? Everyone was walking on the same street, and then that happened. It was a huge 2 bangs, really loud, and then a smoke, and then it was obvious that something happened. There's nothing safe here in Ukraine, anywhere in Ukraine, travel across the country every day, so we thought that Nipro is more, let's say, because tomorrow we have to go somewhere else. But about the references of the attack, just opposite those residential blocks, there's a building of a Ukrainian secret service, which is from my conversation with Ivapor resident, but empty for a month, and Russians targeted obviously that building in the nearby building. We've seen this already in Ukraine over and over again. The residential houses and apartment blocks are being hit, so you never know where it's going to land. There were banks, and the next thing we think smoke and fire. Well, the problem with this particular attack, there was no siren before the attack. The Russians were using something, a ballistic, but something which the anti-aircraft defense couldn't notice before it happened, because there were 2 strikes, and then 2 minutes later we had the siren. So I think that the anti-aircraft defense system didn't notice those missiles right. That is the problem. What happened this evening? 5 people injured in that strike on a multi-story building in the Nipro. The President Vladimir Zelenskiy has called it Russian missile terror. We'll keep you updated on developments in the Nipro.